I'm Frank Puetrino, and if you're sitting across from me at Frank's Haven with a glass of grappa in hand, you're about to hear a story that's got as much Brooklyn soul as it does Greenwich polish, a tale of heart, hustle, and a few too many canolas. I grew up in Williamsburg, where the bridge casts a long shadow over streets packed with Italians and Jews, all of 'em hollering about whose Nana sauce could knock out a champ or whose bagels got more chew than a street fight. I'm an Army vet, did my time as an MP in Iraq, came back with some ghosts rattling in my skull, but a heart bolted to God. These days I'm in Byram, Connecticut, running Puetrino Landscaping, turning Greenwich's ritzy estates into gardens so lush they'd make paradise look like a weed patch. Cash, that's for suckers. I barter like a street magician, swap azaleas for prosciutto at Sal's Deli, prosciutto for sfogliatelle at Nana's Bakery, sfogliatelle for bratwurst at Hans's Butcher Shop, bratwurst for pastrami at Goldstein's Deli, pastrami for roses at Rosie's Florist, roses for tools at the hardware store. By sundown, everybody's eating like kings, wallets still fat, and I'm the maestro of Greenwich Avenue, weaving deals like a conductor with a baton. But let me tell you, I get no respect. My own family looks at me like I'm the guy who trims the hedges and forgets where he parked the mower. Frank's Haven is my pride and joy, a basement bar glowing with bartered grappa, bourbon, and neon lights that hum like a Brooklyn jukebox, drowning out the noise of the world, those screaming headlines about crime, war, whatever fresh hell's on the news. It's a cut above the Greenwich tap down the block, a sanctuary where my vet buddies, local wise guys, and Greenwich yuppies cram in until dawn, laughing like the troubles outside can't touch us. My wife Maria, she's a Sicilian volcano, hotter than a July stoop and twice as fierce. Frank, you're driving us to the poorhouse with these parties, she bellows, scraping plates while I'm pouring drinks like I'm running a casino floor. The door's always open. You're entertaining every bum in town. God forbid I walk to the kitchen in my underwear. One night I'm fussing over a cannoli tray like it's a work of art, arranging each pastry just so, and she loses it, dumping a whole bowl of spaghetti right on my head, sauce dripping down my face, meatballs rolling off my chin like I'm the main course in a food fight. Fix your own damn bash, you gavone, she roars, and the room erupts, my marine pal Tony nearly choking on his beer. Now they all call me Spaghetti Head, busting my chops every chance they get, and I just grin, wiping sauce off my shirt, telling Maria, Babe, this is why we're legends, while she's waving a wooden spoon like it's a loaded pistol. Legends don't pay bills, Frank, she fires back, but there's a twinkle in her eye that says she loves me anyway. Late nights, I'm chuckling at my own flops, knowing I'm the guy who keeps this haven alive, no matter how much marinara's in my hair. We've got 4 kids, and they're a circus that'd make Barnum blush. Frank Jr., 19, is my mirror, big heart, bigger yap, married to Rachel, a Jewish girl from Williamsburg whose pop, Izzy Goldstein, runs a bookie joint like he's stealing from the rich to feed the poor, though he's not above cracking a few kneecaps. Those two bicker like they're headlining a comedy act, Rachel pushing kosher, Junior smuggling sausage. Junior, that pork's a mortal sin, she hollers, lobbing a bagel across the kitchen. Your gefilte fish is the real crime, he snaps, ducking as it sails past, clipping my chandelier with a crash that sends sparks flying and the whole room howling. I egg them on, grinning. Keep it up, I'm selling tickets to this food fight. Nancy, 17, carries a grudge heavier than a Brooklyn pier, calling me a lousy dad, saying I was so busy hosting, I left her feeling like a ghost in her own house. That one cuts deep, a quiet wound I didn't see coming. Joseph, 15, is the bookworm, barricaded in his room with stacks of novels like he's planning to outsmart the Almighty. Mary, 13, is our wild card, swiping candy, ditching school. But Maria and I keep wrapping her in hugs, which only stokes Nancy's fire, her eyes flashing like she's ready to torch the place. My old pal, Don Sal Moretti, is like Brooklyn's unofficial mayor, running rackets with one hand and weeping at mass with the other, always slipping cash to widows while pitching me side gigs. Frankie, move some special mulch. Who's it hurt? He says, sipping espresso like he's holding court. I flash a grin. Sal, I'm too busy throwing parties to play mulch mule. Izzy, Rachel's dad, is his Jewish counterpart, running bets with a heart of gruff charity, but you're never sure if he's lighting a menorah or sizing you up for a shakedown. Izzy, my bashes are bigger than your book. I tell him, and he laughs, his eyes sharp. Nicky Santoro, my buddy from way back, runs the Emerald Palace, a Stamford casino dripping with glitz, always flashing a grin like he's got aces up his sleeve. Frankie, your bartering could bankroll my VIP room, he says, but I wave him off. Nicky, my parties outshine your slots. Tommy Russo, a boxer from Philly, is scrapping his way up at the Greenwich Y, his eyes burning with grit, torn because Nicky's leaning on him to throw a fight for cash. Frankie, I'm fighting clean, he tells me, and I nod. Tommy, you'll win big. We'll throw a bash for the ages. Hans Muller, my German butcher and carpenter, is the loudest character in the room, his shop polished to a mirror shine, his custom furniture built for Greenwich's elite like he's carving for a Kaiser. He waves American and German flags ranting like a storm cloud. You Italians and Jews, no discipline, just chaos. This country's great, but you people need order. I laugh. Hans, my parties are so big, they've got their own zip code. He's fixing my bar stools, muttering about sloppy Americans, but his scowl cracks into a grin when I slide him a bratwurst, and you know he's family, even if he'd never admit it. Frank's Haven isn't just a bar, it's a fortress, a place where the neon hums, Maria's meatballs sizzle, and glasses clink like a symphony, shutting out the world's horrors, murders, wars, scandals, screaming from every TV screen. It's Brooklyn's heart transplanted to Greenwich, a refuge where my crew forgets the outside mess and becomes something closer than blood. But trouble has a way of finding you, no matter how many drinks you pour or how loud you laugh. It started with Vin Russo, an old army buddy who turned snake, bitter since I snitched on him for stealing MREs in Iraq. He began whispering that my bartering was a front for something crooked, planting seeds of doubt that grew like weeds in the cracks of my life. The IRS came sniffing, poking through my books, and while I was clean as a whistle, the rumors spooked my clients, who started dropping me like I was bad news. I stood in my Williamsburg church, hands clasped, murmuring, God, I'm trying to do right here. What's the deal? But the hits kept coming. Vin upped the ante, tampering with my sprinklers on a Greenwich estate, turning a manicured lawn into a swamp, and landing me with a lawsuit that sucked my savings dry faster than a Vegas slot machine. Maria was beside herself, storming through the kitchen, her voice echoing off the walls. Frank, your damn parties are driving us to the poorhouse. I can't even walk to the fridge in my nightgown without tripping over your freeloaders. I tried to calm her, hands raised like I was facing a firing squad. Babe, I'm keeping the community together. But she just pointed that wooden spoon at me, eyes blazing. Community don't pay the bills, Frankie. Frank Jr. had my back, but his kitchen wars with Rachel weren't helping. Lox versus meatballs. Bagels flying like frisbees. You're killing my heritage, Rachel shouted, her fork waving. Your heritage tastes like despair. Junior fired back, ducking a roll that sailed past my ear. I leaned against the counter, grinning. Kids, save it for the pay-per-view. But inside I was fraying. Sal and Izzy were at it too, their deli rivalry spilling into my bar. My lasagna's the best in 3 states. Sal boasted, chest puffed. Your sauce is dishwater. Izzy snapped, slamming a pastrami sandwich on the table. I cut in. Fellas, my bashes outcooked you both, trying to keep the peace. But their glares told me I was refereeing a losing match. Tommy confided in me at the bar, his knuckles bruised from sparring. Nicky's leaning hard, Frankie. Wants me to take a dive, but I'm staying straight. I clapped his shoulder. Tommy, you're my guy. We'll celebrate when you knock 'em out. Hans, polishing the bar like it was a military inspection, grumbled, You Italians and Jews, always chaos. Germany don't got this mess. I laughed. Hans, my parties are bigger than your flags. But his scowl only deepened, though I caught a flicker of amusement in his eyes. Nancy's accusations were the real knife in my gut. She'd been telling anyone who'd listened that I was a bum, a dad so wrapped up in his parties I'd left her invisible, a shadow in her own home. You never saw me, Pop, she said one night, her voice low and sharp, and it landed like a punch I didn't see coming. I tried to reach her, Kid, I'm right here, but she turned away, her silence louder than Maria's yells. My crew started looking at me sideways. Lila, the tech whiz, thought my bartering was shady because she'd been burned by a crooked investor. Marcus, the Navy vet lawyer, pushed me to sue Vin but doubted my God first talk. Elena, the artist, loved my cannoli but wondered if Nancy had a point, her own ex leaving scars. John, the hedge fund jerk, mocked my prayers. Your bar's no savior, Frankie, while sneaking off to meet Vin. Sal offered, I'll make Vin vanish, Frankie. I shrugged. Sal, I'm too busy providing for the crew. Izzy said my Jersey boys got this. I laughed. Izzy, my bash is bigger than Jersey. Nicky pushed harder. One casino deal, Frankie, and you're set. I waved him off. Nicky, my parties are the real jackpot. But the weight was piling on, and when Nancy ran off, leaving a note that read, Pop, you ruined my life, it felt like the ground caved in. Everything unraveled from there. Maria was ready to walk, her voice cracking. Frank, I ain't your buzzboy, and your parties are breaking us. Nancy came back, but kept ripping into me, her eyes full of hurt I couldn't fix. Business was a ghost town, the lawsuit bleeding me dry, and the crew's doubts grew louder. Lila whispered, maybe Nancy's right. Marcus said, she's just hurt, but his eyes weren't sure. Elena stayed quiet, torn, while John smirked like he knew something I didn't. Hans, scrubbing glasses, muttered, this drama's why Germany's better. I fired back, Hans, my bash is bigger than Berlin, but my laugh was hollow. Joseph, my quiet bookworm, came through. Finding proof Vin had rigged my sprinklers, his voice steady. Pop, he sabotaged your gear. I ruffled his hair. Good work, kid. Alana admitted, I heard Vin bragging at Goldstein's, but Carlos, his goon, scared me silent. I said, Alina, you're safe now. Lila frowned. Your deals remind me of my investor, Frankie. I snapped, Lila, my parties are clean. John was plotting with Vin, I could smell it. And when I collapsed at the golf course, bartering for club repairs, I woke up in a hospital bed, Nancy's voice echoing, you let me down, Pop, as the room spun. The tide turned when John, of all people, grew a conscience. An email landed in Lila's inbox, Vin's full confession, laying out his sabotage. Who sent this? I croaked, still hooked to an IV. John fessed up, head low. I screwed up, Frankie. I looked at him, half dead but alive enough to say, you're a Gavone, but you're my Gavone. Joseph's evidence sealed it. Rachel got Izzy to back off, saying, Pop Frank's family. Tommy won his fight, no dive, his fists flying like he was punching through every doubt. Hans built me a new bar counter, grumbling. This'll outlast your Italian nonsense, but his eyes were warm. Lila hacked Vin's emails, tying him to a crooked Greenwich official. Marcus pulled strings. Elena spilled Vin's boasts. Frank Jr. stared down Carlos, keeping Elena safe. Vin was hauled off in cuffs, and Nancy, after tears that soaked my shirt, hugged me tight. Sorry, Pop, I just felt invisible. I held her close. We're good, kid. Don't run again. Maria stood by the door, arms crossed. No more 3 a.m. parties, Frankie, or we're in the poorhouse. But her smile said she was staying. Business roared back, Frank's haven alive with laughter. Frank Jr. and Rachel threw a feast, lasagna, lox bratwurst, no food fights this time. Sal toasted, you're a saint, Frankie. Izzy jabbed, a saint who owes me pastrami. Nicky laughed, crazier than my casino. Tommy raised a glass. Hans ranted, America's #1, while polishing everything in sight. Nancy painted with Elena. Joseph kept Mary out of trouble. Lila was solid. Marcus won his case. John tried being less of a jerk. I strolled Greenwich Avenue, trading roses for coffee at the Greenwich Tap, Maria beside me, giggling about the spaghetti incident. The kids, Tony, Tons, everybody was there, clinking glasses, laughing like the world's troubles, those headlines of crime and war, couldn't touch us. I stopped at a church, whispered, thanks God, feeling like I dodged a bullet. Sal, Izzy, and Nicky were still out there, and trouble might come again. But I'm Frankie Puetrino, keeping Frank's haven open, sauce on my head, getting no respect, but my heart's full, and this bar's my fortress, a home where the world's horrors don't stand a chance.